Hi everybody, Slade Perrins here from Speedcafe.com and welcome to another edition of Ryco Filters Clearing the Air. We're here to preview the NTI Townsville 500 this weekend, and we're doing it from a very special location, the Truck Assist Racing Workshop in Yatala on the Gold Coast. And we're doing it here because it coincides with the exciting announcement we had earlier this week where Truck Assist has become a Speedcafe.com Platinum Partner. So we're here to preview the Townsville 500 from Truck Assist Racing. It's fitting that we're here at Matt Stone Racing because we had an announcement earlier this week that Aaron Seaton will be joining Jack LeBrock in the Truck Assist Racing for Matt Stone Racing. Now, Aaron is a third generation racer from the Seaton family. He's a 24-year-old and he's been plying his trade in Super 2 the last 2 seasons, but it's exciting to see the Seaton name return to the Supercars top tier and return to the Bathurst 1000 grid. Moving on to some other news, and we had a high-profile driver and team split after Darwin. Gary Jacobson has left Premier Racing and James Golding will now be stepping into that car. James is going to run the number 31 on the Subway-backed car starting from this weekend in Townsville, and there's also been a few engineering shifts within the team, engineer changes, but all eyes will be on James Golding as he returns to Supercars this weekend. He did 2 full seasons in the championship with Gary Rogers Motorsport, but now returning with a couple of rounds left in the 2022 season with Premier Racing. Speaking of engineering changes, Anton De Pasquale has also got an engineer change this weekend. His usual guy on the radio, Ludo Lacroix, has gone home to visit his family for a couple of weeks, so Mark Fenning will be stepping in for Ludo on Anton's car. Fenning was actually a substitute for Will Davison at Darwin, but he's now stepping across to Anton's car as Rich Harris gets back on the tools on the number 17 this weekend in Townsville. In the break between rounds, we also had some more wildcard news. The Matt Charter Motorsport wildcard has been confirmed for the October Bathurst 1000, and no co-drivers or no driver announcement as yet for that car, but the entry has been locked in for that round. There's also been a bit bubbling away with the Anderson Motorsport wildcard. It's a little bit in doubt after some news that we had come out earlier this week where Michael Anderson had his super license application withdrawn for providing incorrect information about his racing history. So there's a bit to shake out there and a bit of doubt over whether that entry will actually happen for the Bathurst 1000 later this year. We had the Tickford Racing co-driver pairings confirmed as well since Darwin. There's lots of stability in the lineups there and an unchanged duo for their lead car at Tickford. Cameron Waters and James Moffat, and then James Courtney and Zane Goddard are pairing up in that car, and Thomas Randall and Zach Best in the third car, and finally brothers Jake and Kurt Kostecki are pairing up in Jake's car. A couple of Queensland teams have been out testing in the break as well. We had 888 Race Engineering and Dick Johnson Racing up at Queensland Raceway. Now we had quite a few practice starts for 888 as they look to hone in on that. It's been a bit of a weakness for them this year. So we had Shane Van Gisbergen and Brock Feeney really trying some things over the course of the test day, and we'll see if that makes a difference this weekend in Townsville. Now we've got a few teams holding on to their Indigenous liveries this weekend and running them again in Townsville as they did in Darwin for Indigenous round. We've got Dick Johnson Racing, Walkinshaw Andretti United, and Grove Racing, and a couple of others who have kept their liveries on their car for this weekend. Obviously they look great, and this weekend also coincides with NAIDOC week. So it's exciting to see everyone keeping around the initiative following Indigenous round. We've got a pretty good form guide to go off this weekend in Townsville based upon results last year. We did have 2 rounds there last year, 2 50k races and also a super sprint format. 888 Racing were dominant and they were brilliant in the 2 50k races, but when it came around to the super sprint weekend, we had Cameron Waters who just shone and picked up 2 race wins out of the 3 available that weekend. Cam and Shane have been probably the class of the field this year, and whether that carries over to Townsville and we see them re-engage in a battle that we loved at Winton, that remains to be seen this weekend. We've had a few rounds in a row where we've had a couple of extra cars on the grid, but we're back to the standard 25 for this weekend on the streets of Townsville. Let's have a look at your Grove High leaderboard heading into this weekend. Shane Van Gisbergen continues to lead the championship on 1,581 points. Anton De Pasquale is there in second, 214 points back. And rounding out the top 5, we have Cameron Waters, Will Davison, and David Reynolds. It'll be interesting to see if De Pasquale can close the gap to Shane or whether Shane can just keep on turning the screws tighter on what looks to be a dominant year for him again in Supercars It all kicks off again this weekend in Townsville. That quite does us for our preview, but Townsville is quite a special place for Speedcafe.com, and this year it sees the return of the Speedcafe.com Green Room, presented by Dasher and Fisher at the Mad Cow Tavern. It all kicks off from 8 p.m. on Sunday night after this track action concludes. Now, Green Room has been the after party of choice for the Supercars paddock for the last more than a decade actually in Townsville, and we're getting back to the Mad Cow Tavern after 2 years off thanks to COVID. Speedcafe.com is also giving you the opportunity to win the ultimate Bathurst prize with the chance to win a trip for two at this year's Repco Bathurst 1000 and the ultimate trackside experience. Tickets are limited at $20 with all proceeds going to St Vincent's Health Australia. There's too many prizes to list, so make sure you check out ultimatemotorsportprize.com.au to enter. For the track schedule this weekend at the NTI Townsville 500, make sure you check out the R&J Batteries event guide. There's plenty more details on there and other stats for you to enjoy. And we'll also have our Mobile One live updates running again this weekend, so stay tuned to the coverage.
Ryco Syntec oil filters are used by leading Supercars team Tickford Racing on their Mustang V8 engines, and now you can get one for your road car. As part of Ryco's partnership with Tickford, significant production enhancements have been made to the Syntec range, including larger ports that improve oil flow and a thicker base plate for added protection against oil pressure surges during endurance events, whilst maintaining superior filtration and life. Syntec is a premium upgrade over OE, so ask your mechanic for Ryco Syntec at your next service and fit the best oil filter on the market.